Super excited to have my business partner, John Schuchman, on. As I mentioned in the introduction, John absolutely has a next level podcast that's in place to help real estate agents succeed in the game of real estate. He is the host of the Real Estate Survival Guide. He has also created a membership and just recently joined the Wolfpack. Super excited to be in partnership with John. Thanks so much for coming on today, man.
Absolutely, Jay. Thanks so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, that's awesome. So today we're just going to talk a little bit about the inspiration behind the podcast, kind of your story and kind of what you're doing with the membership, because, you know, it is, as you know, both of my passion and your passion to, you know, have agents be successful in this business. And it all boils down to the, you know, mindset, scarcity mindset versus abundance mindset. And you speak so elegantly on that all the time. And so kind of where did it all start, and tell us a little bit about your career in real estate so far.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, thanks so much for having me. And it's been awesome to have you as my sponsor at EXP. It has absolutely been game-changing for me, changed my business, changed my life. And so I'll apologize that I yelled at you a year ago and told you don't ever talk to me about EXP, because when I took the horse blinders off, I'm like, oh my gosh, this actually could change my life. And it has. Even the first 3 months, whatever it is now being there, EXP has absolutely changed my life. But to go back, I mean, the biggest thing, every single thing that I've built has come from pain. Everything that I've built is, what do I wish I would have had? And so when I got into real estate, it took me 9 months to sell my first home. Thought I was going to go broke. So had a lot going on. But when I finally started to have success, a lot of it was through social media and connections on there. Social media is an incredibly powerful tool. I talk to agents every week about this, and so many of them are just missing some basic things that you could do for free on your social media to let people know that you're a realtor. And we could get into that if you'd like. But, you know, the biggest thing is, I wanted agents to have success in their business, for one. And two, I was sick of seeing everybody charge hundreds of thousands of dollars for them to do it. So for instance, there's someone in the membership who you know and you've helped, and her name is Karen. Karen basically came into the membership. She had been at an event, and we won't call out the person whose event it was. You know who it is. But this person basically, day 1, day 2, day 3, they were trying to sell this $25,000 course for Karen to create success in her real estate business. Now, Karen had an accident years ago and had to recover and took years off of real estate, was just getting back into it. And it's like, she comes back into it and someone's trying to pitch her for a $25,000 course. So Jennifer Harshman, a friend of mine who I spent years in a mastermind with, said to Karen, she was like talking about her frustration, and Jennifer said, you should talk to John. He won't try to pitch you. And it was so funny, because then we're talking 2 days later, and she's like, I left this event, John. I was so angry that I bought a ticket. After 2 days, I didn't even go back for day 3 because I didn't want to hear her pitch her stupid course. So, you know, it's a female. So now it's half of the realtors and their coaching have been eliminated. But that to me is like the epitome of everything I do. I tried to create a low budget option for realtors to have success. And that's where the membership came from. Now I built out a mastermind through that. But the biggest thing is, I don't just want to charge agents and make money, right? I think, and you see this a lot with the value we provide at EXP, we want to actually help people. You know, people talk about, oh, EXP is a pyramid scheme. Here's the deal. We get compensated from the company when you sell homes. There is no point in bringing you over if we're not going to teach you to sell homes. My job, Jeremy's job, and what we do is, how do I take this agent, maybe they have 0 sales, to 5 or 10. If they have 10 a year, to 20 to 30, right? And what I think is so interesting is, I've done a pretty good job, and God's blessed me a lot, like building the foundations, right? So we have people in our membership that haven't sold any homes. And I have people in there that sell 20 million a year in real estate. Why am I, a person selling $5 to $6, $7 million a year in real estate, able to teach them? Because I, through my 16 years, and you know this, but like, I've never been successful at a W-2 job. I always move on, get fired, whatever. But in every single job, I learned how to use social media for free, right? I used to be a wedding photographer. You post those wedding pictures from the amazing pictures you took, and somebody's booking a wedding with you within the next 24 hours. So I took that, applied it to real estate, and just kind of, for free is my favorite word, right? Like, free is my favorite word because it's like, there are things anyone listening to this can do on their Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, etc., TikTok, right? That they can do for free to get their word out and their name out about their business. And I think a lot of realtors miss it. So that's a little bit about my business and, what I've now created through the Real Estate Survival Guide.
Yeah, now everybody else knows why I thought EXP and the Wolfpack was such a good fit. But moving on.
Exactly.
Moving on. The fact that John just kind of pours in, and it's his heart to serve that absolutely separates him. He has podcasts about me from years ago that said, I wasn't going to meet with this guy. I knew he was going to pitch me on EXP. He came on the call and said, don't ask me about EXP or say EXP one time or I'm going to end this call. I didn't, and I never really mentioned EXP without him mentioning it to me first, and here he is. So that's
I did go back.
Story there.
I did go back and put out an apology episode because you became one of my best friends in the business. Well, you have to release on your show that the haterade I threw and then the apology.
It was perfect. Here we are. But even on that call, John was, giving me some tips on my social media and stuff, and still says the same things to me to this day because I'm kind of hard-headed and don't listen a lot. But just that piece in their heart to serve. So tell me a little bit about where that comes from. I'm a new agent. I'm struggling. I'm at a brokerage where, training is the key. I'm trying to plug in and it's just not happening. Tell me a little bit about what your membership or your kind of thoughts would be to that agent.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, right? I just, had an agent yesterday join my downline, and they came from an agency. First of all, what I will say is I do not care. All right, so I will just be fully transparent here. I do not care how high your split is if you do not have a cap, right? I was at a 90-10. None of you are probably at a 90-10, right? But I had no cap. Paid $30,000 to my brokerage last year and said, this is nuts. If I make $20 million here, right? I'm always going to pay them something. So, but all that to say, my heart of it really came from seeing the frustration of agents, seeing how many go to these brokerages. And I came from a brokerage, their training was good. I do give them the benefit of the doubt. Their training was great. Now, nothing like what the Wolfpack, Mike Sherrard, Louie, Connor, nothing like what you guys have created at EXP, but it was a good training program. What I think the biggest lesson in a post-COVID environment is I don't need to drive an hour to an office or brokerage to get training that I need, right? I think the EXP model makes so much sense in that. Guess what? Let's pretend that right now it's 12 p.m. on Monday, right? Jeremy has a call, right? So I don't need to drive 30 minutes and 30 minutes back. I come downstairs to my office, I get on that call for 60 minutes, and then I go about my day.
It would be a lot longer than 30-minute drive to get from Pennsylvania to Denver.
Well, yeah, but the point is basically that we have our clients, we're meeting at Starbucks, we're meeting on Zoom, whatever. Why are we driving 40, 30 minutes to our brokerage office for training? So, but anyway, the heart of it really came from wanting to see something different. So many realtors, I talk to new realtors almost every single week, and each one is either struggling to sell their first house, or now they're making money, but they don't have the organization. And you've seen that in the membership. We've got some top producers there who have no structure, don't know how to say no. In fact, this past week on my Facebook, I released a video about you need boundaries. And I talked about you and you know how your family, right? Your wife and 3 daughters are so important that I'll text you or call you and you'll be like, family time, bye. Like, and you'll not answer. I didn't have that at my old brokerage, right? I had, in fact, they said, I saw you on Do Not Disturb, so I called you twice. Like that, by the way, guys, is a boundary issue if your team leader is doing that. Anyway, but I think it all is, I want you guys in real estate to make money. I also want you to have a family life, right? Louis, who brought Jeremy on to EXP, says, I didn't get into this business to get divorced, right? And for me, family is so valuable. I'm not gonna sacrifice that. Like my kids need me. I've got 2 young children, 3.5 and two. Like they need dad, right? And so everything I do in my business, I want to help people, but also train them. Hey, you don't have to say yes to every single client, every showing. And so I think that's the heart of it, seeing that success is possible in this business without working 150 hours a week. It just is.
Absolutely. And so it's more of, you know, a confidence issue, where you're at, what you're doing. A lot of times these traditional training methods are really, you know, drilling certain traditional aspects into people's mind. And what I appreciate about you is you bring the social media, you're pretty bullish on getting on social media, but you're also bullish on doing other things to help, you know, stimulate. If you want to door knock, if you want to cold call, drive them back to social media, and you kind of have a plan. So, and the thing that I really, you know, love to talk about is you are the 5 people, the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with. And that's why your membership works. And that's why it is very apparent that, you know, we have top producers, we have mid producers, we have no producers, and it's kind of just, you know, going from there. Now, as a top producer, do I get absolutely something from every single call? Yes, because I'm there to learn. And if you've sold 0 houses and you're going through something, maybe I learn how to better, you know, inspire you, or maybe I learn something about real estate because I don't know everything. And
well,
so
I think too, Jay,
that's part of it.
No, and I'm sorry to cut in. I'll even say, like, right, you even mentioned, if we can talk about it, like I was like, hey, let's put you on the hot seat. And you're like, oh, well, I'm there to help people. I'm there to this. And I'm like, Jeremy, you're there to, like, you provide value and we appreciate that, but I also want you to get something out of it. And I think both of us in our business get, I don't know if it's good at, or we're pretty good at being like, oh, let me help you. That we sometimes, like, even I have to remind myself, like, hey, you got to be learning too. Like, John, what are you learning? Who are you learning from? Of course, you know, the value with the calls we have at the Wolfpack every week. Now I get a ton of value from those, but it's like, we need to be fed as well. We can't be like feeding everyone else all the time.
Yep, absolutely. And that's all part of your business, because, you know, we talked a little bit about this the other day. You joked about the survival guide. You need a life raft, right? And that's funny. But just because you're a top producer today in the traditional day-to-day real estate world doesn't mean you're a top producer tomorrow. Mm-hmm. My income after this, you know, 2023 expires, the ball drops 2024, my income is now 0 for the year. I start all over. And we can go down the residual. That's not where I want to go with this. But why is that cycle so important? And why the real estate survival guide? And, you know, obviously new agents, it pulls new agents, but why do you think it's pulling other agents that are maybe not? Like maybe you did mention, you know, one of the agents had an injury and that kind of stuff. What do you have there for that survival, kind of the survival cycle of it, and what can people watch out for no matter what their production level is?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, you know, my first job when I was 16 years old, Jeremy, I don't even know if you know this yet, was at Sears and selling tools. And it's very, like, first business was, I remember actually I started as this isn't really the answer, but I started as an hourly employee and they shifted us about a year into my job to commission, right? I think it was a base $6 an hour. I changed from, like, I think I was making $8 or $9 an hour to $6 an hour plus commission. And everybody hated it. Everybody else hated it. I loved it. And I went on to sell the most tools there, even working part-time while I was in college. Got the most Sears credit cards, and we got paid. Sears probably made it off like a billionaire from me. Okay. I got $2 every time I sold a Sears card, and they probably got thousands. But all that to say, I was really good at sales, but why did Sears fail? Why? The Sears used to sell houses in their catalog, right? The Sears was like 50 years ago was like Amazon, right? They sold everything. Well, why did they go bankrupt? Failure to adapt, right? Failure to adapt. The business was going, I think so much about, right, the Netflix and Blockbuster story. Why did Blockbuster go out of business, right? Failure to adapt. Netflix offered them the option for this streaming service, and they said, this is not a real thing. People will always buy DVDs. My kids won't even know what a DVD is, right? They'll be like, put on the Apple TV and stream Paw Patrol, right? But failure to adapt. So I think no matter what, whether it's you in Colorado, the realtor that we have in Atlanta doing 20 million a year, if you guys, right, and other top producers, other agents do not adapt, you will fail, because you're only as good as the work you're putting in for your next deal, right? That's the thing, right? I remember in 2022, I hit my 2021 income by the end of June. Did I just sit on the couch? No. I kept putting stuff out on social media, advertising, talking to people about real estate, having real estate conversations, doing showings, going to listing appointments, etc. You don't just stop, right? You keep putting in the work, because here's the thing, and you know this, in real estate, you know that the work we're doing now, today in our business, probably doesn't pay off today, right? We're probably, unless you had a settlement this morning, we're not getting paid today. So the work I'm doing today is paying off in 3 months, 6 months. I have a board for my clients, and it's my 3 months, my 6 months, my 9 months, my 12 months. I'm nurturing all of those, because if that person told me they're going to buy in a year, but I forget about them, I don't check in with them, I don't see how they're doing, they're going to forget about me and go work with someone else. So you always have to be like flexing and adapting in this business if you want to keep having success.
Absolutely. And I think this one, I'm going to ask you a little bit about, you touched on it already, is be coachable. One thing that, even you kind of were ahead of me in is that paid coaching kind of thing, and your association with Total Life Freedom and Vincent Puglisi. Tell me why your inspiration is to have an affordable option for all walks of real estate agents to come in and plug in. Talk a little bit about your membership with Total Life Freedom, and talk about why being coachable was something that came up to you when probably you didn't have the income that you would cross into, or someone's like, you should get a coach. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, first of all, I think it's all about jumping into things slowly and in seasons, right? We both know someone, and they talk about on social media how they just spent $60,000 on a coaching program. They didn't start by spending $60,000. They probably spent 50 and 40 and 30 and 20 and 10, etc. When I really got into coaching, first of all, when I started with Total Life Freedom, it was $150 a month just for the membership aspect of it, because he has kind of 2 tiers. And then I said, do I have the affordability to jump up to a mastermind level? I knew the success would come. I just knew what he taught people and how much people learned and grew their business. And so I joined. So if you figure at $500 a month for the mastermind that I'm in, and I also ran an office and have a mastermind in person. In total, it's about $800, $900 a month. Okay. All together, everything I did. Okay. Here is the thing. That first year that I did that, I just started small, right? 150 first, do this, jump in this. And each step of the way, it was like, okay, do I kind of feel the door opening and my business expanding? God, blessing what I'm doing? Yes. Okay. I'll keep walking through that open door. That first year that I started, I invested about $10,000, but I made an additional 80, right? So if you're listening to this and you're like, $10,000 is a lot to spend, I would say to you, $80,000 is a lot to not earn by not investing in coaching. And so, on the old real estate team I was on, the guy makes $300,000 a year in real estate and was like, no, I can't afford that. No, I can't afford that. No, I can't afford that. And that's very short-sighted thinking, right? Because in real estate, if you know, even Jeremy, you're having success, you're doing well as the top producing EXP agent in Colorado. That's great. But you invest in things. You have a transaction coordinator, you have some virtual assistants, you have all these things. You could be like, no, I'm going to hoard all the money and do it all myself. Well, guess what? Go back to what Louis said. Your wife would never see you. Your kids will never see you. It is not worth you saving a few $1,000s a year. So, and I also just think you cannot be the smartest person in the room. I did a video a few weeks back. If you're the smartest person in the room, you need to find a new room. That's why I love these calls that we have with the Wolfpack and EXP, because I get on there and I'm like, oh geez, like I could do that. I could do that. I could do that. Some of those strategies are things that I need to learn, and I need to be around people that are crushing it, like Mike, Connor, Louis, etc. So I think it's all about, you got to make the investment in yourself, right? And in terms of my membership, you kind of talked about the cost there. I wanted it to be like so inexpensive. I don't like the word cheap, that it was a no-brainer, that you're like, oh, of course I can do that, right? Whatever, it started at $50 a month and it's shifting a little bit, but even if it's 75 or $100 a month for 4 calls, I know that the value I provide is worth so much more than that. And really, it's not just about the money. It's not about new members. Here's the deal. When I bring on someone amazing, like Jeremy, you were one of the first people in my group, right? And every time we add someone, they bring a new dimension. It makes John better, Jeremy, Karen, like all these 30 whatever people, it makes us all better when we add people. Now, again, I interview people. I don't just let them jump in. I have a process. If you come on a call with me and all you do is complain about the rates, the market, your grandma, your dog, etc., you're probably not a fit. If you come on talking about like how to grow your business, how you can help others, you're a fit. But it's about, protecting the integrity of the group as well.
Yeah. And I'm an Arte syndicate, and they always say that only 40% of the value is the calls that Andy and Ed do. It's being a member of such a high level, high production group. And so that's really cool. And to be honest, real estate agents typically are cheap, even though you don't like the word. So having an affordable membership is something that all walks of life could do. And now John's got the membership, and then he's got his revenue share organization. And so partnering with John in some ways is perfect, but he's still leaving that survival guide, because it's his passion, open to the general public. And so I would encourage every real estate agent that's on this call to kind of see what it's about. And if you're in, the big coaching groups and the Joshua Smiths of the world, absolutely phenomenal coaching is out there, but it is more costly. I will tell you that within John's style of membership, you have a voice, you have a place, and that's pretty impressive, because no matter how big it's gotten, we still kind of have the hot seats, and you can get value from every single call. It's not just like you're on a webinar, you have the ability to unmute yourself and have conversations and ask questions, which is probably more valuable than some of the high dollar coaching programs that are out there, especially for real estate agents, right? And the fact that there's, 5% of the real estate agents in the world make 85% of the money, or whatever that crazy stat is a complete travesty. And this business is so abundant, and there's closings that happen every day, and how you can grow. And that's really what I appreciate. So how would people kind of contact you about joining the membership or reaching out to you? I know you also do some social media audits. Where can people kind of connect, and give us a little rundown of that piece?
Yeah, I'll start at the end with what you started, because I forget to mention it sometime. I love doing the social media audits. I do them for free. If you connect with me, your best place is probably social media. You can look me up. But you can, guys, and I'll even be that brave soul. You can text me 610-568-4651. Like, I will get on a 15-30 minute call, and I will tell you some things you can do on your social media for free to change your business. And I'll just give you one here, Jeremy. And I don't think Jeremy did this. Jeremy might have done this when I met him, but I definitely yelled him like, I don't see anything about your business. Guys, okay, so your bio so many of you are realtors and your Facebook page does not show your phone number in your bio, and it makes me want to throw something through a window. If I'm scrolling your page and I'm like, oh, I didn't know Jeremy was a realtor, but then I see under contract, sold, coming soon, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, I see that property on 123 Main Street. I've been thinking of moving down there. Let me call Jeremy. I'm scrolling. I cannot find a way to call him, and it is so annoying. So one of the ways you can reach your clients is just edit your bio. It's so easy from your Facebook page, right? Your intro at the very top, right? And my phone number is right there for my 4,000 connections on Facebook to reach out to me, right? Edit your intro. It could say Colorado Realtor, call me 867-5309, right? You can call Jenny. But I think the point is you're making it so hard to reach you that you're not selling any real estate. So yes, Jeremy, I do the social media audits. Happy to do them for free for anyone. There's no obligation to pay me or jump into what I'm doing. I just love doing them. And they actually help me. They make me better. The way I get on those free calls and connect with someone, I'm like, that's something I can share in the membership. That's something I can share on the mastermind. And they can connect with me on social media. You can email me, johnschuchmanrealtor@gmail.com, text me, which I already put in there. But I'm happy to connect with anyone anytime. If you think the membership or mastermind is something you'd be interested in, you are welcome to jump on any calls for free, right? Again, I'll let anyone on a call for free the first time to check it out. There's no obligation to join. You can just jump in. But I believe so much in the value I provide that I believe you'll stick around. Yeah, Jay, I appreciate you so much. And you've been a huge part of my journey, even when I hated you at the beginning.
I don't know if it was hate. It was just a boundary, which I get.
It was hate. It's okay.
Perfect. Well, it's hard to hate me for long. So
that's right.
And as always, check out the Real Estate Survival Podcast, wherever podcasts are. John does an absolutely amazing job with that and has inspired me to bring my YouTube channel over to the podcast world. And I'm going to have some special podcast episodes coming up here shortly. So thanks so much for your time today, John. I will link all of John's information in the comments and show notes, and we'll talk to you next time.
Appreciate you, bro. Thanks.
All right. Bye-bye.